Here in the side room of an independent shop in Stevenage, jeweller John Nash is mending a customer's ring. He's been selling and mending jewellery here for the past 13 years, and he likes managing the small business because he believes he provides a service that larger brands cannot.
So when you go to the bigger shops, they don't always have the same level of knowledge or the same understanding or the same intent. Obviously smaller businesses, you rely on the continued custom, so you try and make sure that you keep everyone happy the best you can.
Probably that one.
But independent shops like John Lyons Jewellers are rare here in Stevenage.
You better shop around. Oh, yeah, you better shop around. Shop around.
In fact, it's much more likely that you'll see brands like these, because big names make up more than 6 out of 10 of the shops in town, and it appears that this isn't a one-off. Research shows that 41% of towns around the country are described as clone towns, places dominated by well-known retail brands and only a handful of independent shops. But ministers don't want this. High streets that are dominated by the big-name stores have shown to be most vulnerable to economic problems. So the government commissioned the report, which it hopes will show how high streets can have fewer big-name brands and more diversity. Experts agree that this is the ideal retail environment for consumers too.
Big brands, big names, big stores attract the footfall to get people onto the high street in the first place. And the independent stores provide the choice and the unique location which bigger names cannot often do. So to get the right mix, to get people staying on the high street, you need a right mix of big retail, independent retail and other services like coffee shop, high street banks to keep people there, with an attractive public around to visit and spend a day out.
But do shoppers want diversity? Some experts are sceptical, believing that habit means we all just want the same shops.
You go to a place, you're going to Marks and Spencer, you're going to Waitrose, you're going to Tesco, other people go to Aldi or something like that. You know what shop you're looking for.
But do Stevenage shoppers agree that all they want are the big name stores?
I like department stores, definitely, and also I like some of their quirky local shops with local products.
I like chain shops because if you can't find something in Europe, then you can just go to a local town and just see if there's got something else in there.
It's nice to see any independent shops. It's nice to see like a Gap, H&M.
I do like some of the big department stores, I think, because then you get a variety of different things in there. I prefer the smaller boutiques. As before, you can get one-off items rather than everybody wearing the same shoes.
So, if the government, experts and many shoppers want to see independent stores in our high street, where are they? An independent retail expert says that they are here, just not right on the high street.
The ones you notice and the ones in the prime high street positions are the big chains. But actually 2/3 of the shops across the country are not multiples at all. They are independents run by local people, usually family operations. And there's enormous health in that because these people work and live there, they spend their money there. They don't take the profits out and take them to London or somewhere else the way the big chains will be doing. They actually are a living part of a living town.
So independent shops are quite common across the country and they contribute well to the local economy, but they can also fall victim to economic problems. In 2010, 8,730 independent shops closed, compared to just 6,432 new openings. So with some independents struggling and the popularity of chain stores showing that people obviously shop there, what would a diverse and prosperous high street look like? 90 miles away from Stevenage is Norwich, one of the top 10 places to shop in the country according to the Javelin Group. It has a whole community of independent shops, including a family-run department store. But why is there such an independent shopping culture in Norwich?
So it's a policy that the local council have tried to look to encourage, but I think it also reflects the nature of the local economy and reflects the nature of the local business models here. The local people were very entrepreneurial. They feel that they have the opportunity to be owners and develop their own businesses, which I think reflects in the number of independents that are here. but it's also a very driven policy by the local council to ensure that that there is the opportunity for businesses to have those premises.
You certainly don't have to go far to find a shop that's just, well, different. But what is it that independent retailers bring to the high street?
New products, often from local producers or designers, perhaps something a little bit different. And their service proposition's different too. They tend to know their customer more intimately, more personally, and be able to bow and bend to their needs better than the multiples who are a lot more rigid.
And the shoppers of Norwich think they bring a lot of consumer choice.
Big multinational national chains, they all tend to sell the same products from one to another, but at smaller independent shops you get the variety.
Well, I think that if you shop in a chain of shops, then you could be anywhere, but if you've got independent shops, then it helps to retain the city's identity.
Well, we come from Colchester and got all the high street stores. They're the same here as in Colchester, so we've come for what's different. So we've tried to avoid department stores where we can and come and see things a bit different, not what everyone else is going to wear.
The government report aims to help the retail industry, but it's not just shops that affect our spending habits. The rise of the internet means that customers don't need to visit the high street. Instead, everything can be ordered from the comfort of your own home. This means that in the UK last year, nearly 10% of all retail spending was bought over the web. So how does this affect the high street?
Google reports 60% of consumers research online for products they intend to buy in store, so the high street still plays a role. People like to interact with products that they've prior researched online, or alternately, they do their research in the high street and then they order online. Whatever it is, it's an entirely multi-channel retailing environment, which is where the internet and the shops come together to provide a total customer experience.
So the internet doesn't spell the end for our towns, and high streets still need to be as profitable as they can. Back in Norwich, it isn't just about the independent shops. In fact, there are still many familiar high street brands. The difference here is that just as prominent are those shops you don't see elsewhere. So how is it that Norwich has such a mix of shops?
We're here outside Gerald's, who is still a family-run store. And the largest of our stores in the city that's privately owned. And they work very closely with the business community. That includes, the big boys that are up at Chapel Field, but likewise the group that work together in the lanes. And they've worked very hard to come together and to make sure that they have a coherent voice.
So by working together, Norwich has the kind of diverse high street that the government and retail experts want to see across the UK. But whilst they have managed it, others have a long way to go. When it comes to the Great British High Street, Norwich and Stevenage show that they aren't all the same.